Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I just wanted to give a brief overview of what Criterion is all about, and also take some time to wish everyone happy Thanksgiving, and I hope you're enjoying spending time with your family. So, to get back to the original question, what is the Criterion Collection? Being in a world of physical media, there are two types of movies. One is a standard release of a movie, and then the other one is what's known as a boutique label, or a higher end version of that same movie. Uh, and basically, Criterion was the front runner for boutique labels. Criterion started in 1984, and what makes them special is they restore films often from the original negatives. They have high quality uh, releases, meaning that they come out on Blu-ray and 4K now, and then they even stream through their own streaming service called the Criterion channel, which I highly recommend if you want to get into Criterion edition films. They are a front runner in providing audio commentaries and additional scenes in movies uh, that used to not exist. It used to be when you would purchase a movie on VHS or rent a movie from a store on a VHS, probably is what more people are used to. It was just the movie. You didn't have the special features, you didn't have the additional scenes, you didn't have director's commentary, and you didn't have supplemental booklets and materials to kind of help expand the world of the movie that you were watching. It was just you put the tape in the VHS machine and you sat down with your family and you watched the movie. So, with that being said, I kind of wanted to get into uh, why I love the Criterion Collection and my first exposure to it, and what it actually looks like in real life when you're out in the stores trying to buy it if you're a physical media collector like myself. Um, Let me start with a little background and say that Criterion has, they are just now crossing over 1,300 movies in their collection. And basically, it's a curated collection of films, that span world cinema. So you've got like Hollywood classics in there, you have documentaries, you have some experimental films and international films. Uh, and we'll get into more of that detail in just a moment. One of the other things that makes them special from a collector's perspective is that they have spine numbers. So, like I was saying, they're fixing to cross over spine number 1300 inside of the collection. And this is an exciting time for physical media, even though it feels like it may be dying. Uh, and I guess, in part it is, but I think people are starting to realize that um, they want to own something. And excuse the glare from my glasses. I need them to read. What I'm basically getting at is I want to show you the difference between like first of all, what the Criterion logo actually looks like, what their box art generally looks like, and what kind of supplemental materials they have inside of their boutique label films when you buy them, because they are a premium priced item. Usually on average they run about $40 US at normal price. for a standard release, but usually you can wait and get them 4 times a year at 50% off. So it's a real helpful thing whenever you're a collector of film like myself and many others around the world. So just bear with me and I'll give you a short history lesson of how I came to love Criterion and how I even noticed it to begin with. So let me start by showing you an example of an early spine number. As a matter of fact, this is spine number 1. And again, nowadays, Criterion is still, they have some things that they've lost the rights to that are still stuck on DVD. And I'm hoping that the company themselves is trying to get these rights back so that they can reissue them under the Criterion label in Blu-ray and 4K. But alas, that's yet to be seen. Some of it is coming slowly. And as our videos go on and we sit down and talk more about this topic, I'll show y'all some examples of some that have been stuck on DVD that are now on Blu-ray. So what I wanted to show you was Criterion in the initial release. Criterion was released all the way back on VHS, and then it came out on Laserdisc. And Laserdisc was like a larger format of DVD, like physically larger. Like say the disc was about this big, compared to a normal DVD disc, which is, you know, pretty small. So when Laserdisc was released, they had specific versions of Criterion movies back then that are no longer in the collection. The biggest example I can give that I remember is Halloween by John Carpenter. Now, I don't have any laser discs to show you. As a matter of fact, I've just kind of restarted my collection over the years. I have a little background on me. I've been collecting for somewhere around the neighborhood of 25 years. Basically, I've been a Criterion fan since DVD really kind of came to the forefront. So, and some of these I've found secondhand, some of them I've purchased new, some of them I've purchased used or traded with friends. Just, I have different ways of getting this collection up and running and to keep it going nowadays. So I'm eternally grateful to all of my friends who have introduced me not only to this hobby as a film curator and connoisseur, but also for introducing me into boutique labels, because I had to exit the hobby for a little while. And since I've returned, there are now more boutique labels than there were when I started. So it's a little overwhelming, in addition to the formats changing as well. So it went from DVD to Blu-ray to now 4K Blu-ray. So, and maybe, you know, in a future video, we'll get into a discussion about the differences between those as far as resolution and things like that, but it kind of gets a little technical. But let's just start with the Criterion logo itself and some of the early box art. And I just went and pulled one off of the shelf just to kind of show you, you know, the spine number and the original Criterion logo. So with these being on DVD, they have plastic cases, so just forgive the glare if there's a little bit, but work with me here. This is a neat little interesting history lesson, if you will. So this is the very first, um, I'm going to try to turn off this light. This is the very first Criterion spine number. This is called The Grand Illusion, which is a French film that has to do with these guys in World War I, I believe, and they have to escape. So they try multiple ways to escape a prison camp, if you will. Not a concentration camp, but just some kind of German World War II prison camp. And it's kind of an early take from a French perspective on an American movie called The Great Escape with Steve McQueen. But the part I wanted to bring to your attention, aside from the beautiful box art, is the logo here. So you'll notice that up here at the top, it just says the Criterion Collection. And that's how it used to look whenever you would go buy these on DVD way back in the day, like I said, 25 years ago. And again, they also have a spine number associated with them. I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but that's spine number 1 with the Criterion Collection written out with a line underneath it. So, and then a little bit of the box art and the name of the title. So this is what they used to look like whenever they were on DVD. And again, as DVD progressed, this is what it looked like on the inside. As DVD progressed, you know, the box art got better. The internal in-house artists for Criterion, they are very, very good at what they do. And I really enjoy seeing like what they've created in their ability to bring this film to life. And this particular film, not that I want to get into a review right now, but this film was released in 1938. So that'll give you kind of an idea that their spine numbers go back, or their catalog goes back into the silent era in the 20s, and it goes on till now. The newest one being Anora, or one of the newest ones, but like the best picture winner for last year was Anora, and Anora is in the Criterion Collection, which I also have upstairs. But just for sake of telling you and showing you the label there, that's what it used to look like. So then later, when Blu-ray came along, Criterion released, Blu-ray is a better high definition resolution of, a film. It's the next step in digital progression. So you've gone from on a DVD, to make this short, a DVD is about 480 lines of resolution, where a Blu-ray is 4 times that resolution, or what they call 1080p. Roughly, it's 4 times the resolution of a standard DVD, and so your pictures are a lot cleaner on this format. And you will also notice that the Criterion logo has changed here to the familiar Criterion C logo. And that loads up, like whenever you put this in a disc player, this little C actually loads up, and then the menu of the movie pops up. This particular movie is called Spinal Tap. This is actually spine number 12 in the collection. This just got reissued from DVD onto Blu-ray and 4K. This one that I'm holding in my hand happens to be the 4K variant, which is the highest quality that you can get this movie in at this time. This was released originally in 1984, and this is by a director that most people love. His name is Rob Reiner. He did a movie called The Princess Bride. And for any of you that have ever seen that, you've probably enjoyed it. I know I did. Princess Bride happens to be in the Criterion collection. This movie is a comedic take on a band, like a mockumentary, if you will. And this is a fake band, and they just get into all kind of antics and things and backstage, and their shows go awry. It's just a goofy take on rock and roll documentaries. And when I say that, I love all kinds of film. So you've got some satirical things in the collection. You've got real documentaries in the collection. You've got some, just classic Hollywood cinema, black and white films, etc. So you have some serious stuff in there and some art house things, but then you also have some satirical titles like this. So I just wanted to take a moment to show you this. And going back real quickly to the original DVD, the first spine number of Grand Illusion, I wanted to show you that at the time, they have, a little bit like their spine content covers a brief workup of how the film came to get restored, and who, like the credits for who did it, and a little bit of a synopsis about how what the movie is actually about, and the players in it, if you will. And that was about all you got when this first came out. But again, you have to remember, this was like 25 years ago when DVD came out. So it was a new format to everyone, kind of like when VHS hit. It was a new format. People just wanted to rent a movie and take it home and watch it. But this kind of expounded upon that and allowed you to see kind of behind the scenes of how a movie was put together, and the team that it takes to actually remaster something to put it on DVD from an old source material from, in this case, 1938. So I have a lot of respect for Criterion and any boutique label nowadays that does this type of work, where they go in and they digitally restore it and they make the movie in the way that the director intended you to see it. And they do it in a number of ways. One is color correction, to take all of the scratches and pops from sound, to take all the scratches out of the picture and fill those in and make it look the way that it was supposed to look, sometimes 100 years ago. So like I was saying, they have things inside the Criterion collection and other boutique labels that go back to the silent era, which I'm trying to dip my toe into the silent era. And sometimes that's a little hard just because it's so far removed from today's fast-paced society. But one of the things that I love about physical media is when you take an opportunity to put a disc in and you force yourself to slow down. So part of the reason for me personally moving back to physical media was I got tired of jumping from platform to platform because I was watching something and then now it's no longer available on this or that platform, and you have to subscribe to this one to get it, and then you got to subscribe to the other one to get it. And I got fed up with that. And plus, I grew up in a generation where, like, if you bought a CD or a cassette tape for audio, you would have picture art, you would have the band's name, you would have the lyrical content. The same thing holds true with a lot of these Criterion movies. So I just wanted to give y'all, as my audience, a wider swath of what you could expect when you spend the premium dollar on your next piece of physical media. And they're not all like insanely expensive, but really they are a lot more than most movies. But don't let that shy you away. Like I said, there are many ways to find this stuff. Used secondhand stores, Goodwill stores, tape trading, Facebook Marketplace, just getting involved in the film community. You will find that there's a lot of people that love this, that would be more than willing to help you try to garner your collection and get it where you want it to be. And what I love about physical media in particular is it is a reflection of the things that you like as an individual, just like my collection is a reflection of the things that I like. Now, I don't know if everybody is like this. I know there are a couple of YouTubers out there that I can think of, and I don't really want to shout them out necessarily, but I will for one that gave me an inspiration. There is a Japanese man who has a channel called Daisuke Beppu. And shout out to Daisuke Beppu. Daisuke Beppu, actually, I've been watching his channel for about 7 years now. And he has all of the Criterion movies, which is amazing. And he went to the Criterion headquarters in New York. He got invited to go visit and see their collection firsthand, because they have something called the Criterion Closet up there that you can actually go into, and you can pick out films that are in their collection that are in print, that's got to be the coolest experience. I hope to one day be able to do that. That's like a nerd's dream. But I digress. So the next box set I want to show you, and again, this is not necessarily a review. This is just a sweeping check to just show y'all what you would get if you spend the money on the premium edition of a movie like a Criterion film. So this is, of course, one of my favorite martial arts stars of all time. He probably needs no introduction to most of you, but this is Bruce Lee, and this is his greatest hits. And all of these span from the years of 1971 through 1979. And so in this box, you have, look at this box art, y'all. Is that not amazing or what? That somebody took the time to hand draw this, and not only hand draw it, but wrap it around the container that everything comes in. And then when you think you've seen it all, you open it up, and folks, it for people who love art and love film, and when you get both of those two things combined together, this is incredible to me that people have taken the time to put these together and make it such a beautiful presentation. So inside of here, there's actually 7 discs of all of the Bruce Lee films that came out in America and Hong Kong. So this is the real Bruce Lee movies, not the Bruceploitation stuff, but you have movies like The Big Boss and The Fist of Fury and Way of the Dragon and Enter the Dragon. Uh, so The Big Boss and Fist of Fury and The Way of the Dragon were movies that were uh, overseas. And Bruce Lee didn't actually make his American debut until Enter the Dragon. So, Enter the Dragon released in theaters here, and I can't remember what year it was exactly. So, forgive me for that. 1973, I stand corrected. And Bruce Lee died shortly after, or shortly before, after or before Enter the Dragon came out. As a matter of fact, just an interesting piece of background information about him. There is a movie out there called Dragon, the Bruce Lee Story, and I remember watching it growing up. It had Jason Scott Lee, who is of no relation, and Lauren Holly. And Jason Scott Lee, of course, played Bruce Lee, and Lauren Holly played Linda Emery, his love interest and later wife in the movie. And it's a loose biopic about Bruce Lee's life. So if you wanted to delve into that, it's a wonderful addition and supplement to this Criterion box. But what I was saying was also they have two additional supplemental Blu-rays in this box. Number 6 and number 7 are nothing but supplemental material to expound upon the already existing movies inside of this Bruce Lee box. This has probably one of the most exhaustive workups for a single individual release that I've seen in quite some time. And Bruce Lee is an icon all across the world. There's not a single person that I've ever talked to that doesn't know who Bruce Lee is. And I'm sure many of you adore him like I do. But this Criterion did the most epic release. And I'm sure that there are others. It might be missing a single documentary or two, but one of the things that makes Criterion special is that usually some of the actors or actresses that are in the movie or some of the production staff or the director will sit down and do commentary that is specific to the Criterion collection for a lot of their releases. So if you can remember back to the beginning of this video, I was saying how Criterion introduced audio commentary, and they introduced deleted scenes and things like that to movies. This is a very good example of a box that pretty much contains it all. And in addition to that, they have booklets in here. It fell out when I opened it up. It's on the floor, and I don't want to bend down and get it. But there is a supplemental booklet in here and a poster that you can actually take out of here and you can frame it and hang it up on your wall. This is so cool, y'all. I think this retails for $130 or something like that at full price, but I picked this up at a 50 off sale. Barnes & Noble holds them twice a year. I believe one is in November and the other one is in July. So those are the months that the Criterion folks just go bananas. That for us lovers of physical media, and especially the Criterion collection. Then also on Criterion's website, criterion.com, they have a 50 off flash sale twice a year. I think one is in October and the other one may be in February or March, but it only happens for 24 hours. but anything that is in stock on their site is available for purchase at 50% off during that flash sale. And usually during the Barnes and Noble Criterion 50 off sales, those usually last about a month or so. And Amazon usually price matches the Barnes and Noble sales. So you have a litany of ways with which to collect these if you want to start a collection. And I'll do another video later about some of my recommendations to just begin your Criterion journey. But I just wanted to show y'all this and let y'all take this in. This, again, this is one of the most beautiful pieces of box art I think I've ever seen. And again, it's got a spine number. I'll read that to you because it doesn't look like my camera's picking it up. But that is spine number 1036. So again, it's got that workup of what is on the disc and all of the extra features that you get for that money. So I know money is hard to come by nowadays, but if you spend it on something that you love and you kind of get what I'll like to call a film school in a box. That is what Criterion is all about, is educating the public on not only this specific director per se, in this case, this actor, the movie, but like just showing you what it took to put something together and bring it back to life. In this case, anywhere from 1971 to 1978. So if you think about that, that's what, 45, 50 years ago, 55 years ago, and it's sitting here on Blu-ray for a modern audience. And that's what grabs me about Criterion, is that they do a very good job of trying to bring forward cinema that could potentially be lost to time, could be underseen or underappreciated at the time, and they bring it to the forefront. Again, I don't quite know what their selection process is when it comes down to actually picking the ones that are in the catalog, but from other channels and other write-ups that they've done, they really care about the quality of the product that they're releasing. They care about the releases that they're actually releasing as well. So I implore you to give it a shot. Maybe not on something this big because this is expensive, but like right now, today, on Thanksgiving Day, November 27th, you can go to Barnes and Noble when it opens and you can get a standard Criterion Blu-ray for $20. So if you've never dipped your toe into Criterion, try to think of what your favorite movie might be and see if it's in the collection. So usually what I do is I go to Criterion's website, criterion.com, and I'll search and see if that particular movie is in the Criterion collection already, or I'll search for a specific director that I like. And then I'll make choices based around that to what I put on my wish list for the Criterion sales and birthdays and Christmases and things like that for those that celebrate those holidays. But going on again, so I'm sure there's a handful of fans out there that have seen Do the Right Thing. One of the reasons that a movie like this would come into print, first of all, I adore Spike Lee. I think Spike Lee has got to be one of the best directors, and I think he was ahead of his time, especially with this movie. This movie had to do with a lot of racial tension and divide and acceptance of other cultures back in, this came out in 1989. So, and this basically, not to get into a review of it, but it takes place in New York. And there's a fellow that works at a pizza place, and the pizza guy's kind of a racist jerk. And, shenanigans ensue as a part of that. But this is kind of like a snapshot in New York culture at the time, and what was going on in different communities. But I bring this to you to show you that the packaging, again, is so stunning. And this is also, again, what I would call a film school in a box. It's got supplemental features. It's got a booklet inside of it that shows, what it took to go behind the scenes. So this is the Do the Right Thing booklet. And as you can see, this is a huge addition to the movie that you wouldn't get if you bought the regular edition. And to give you an idea, just thumbing through this is 107 pages of information that can go along with this movie. So, like, if you like Do the Right Thing, this is the premium way to see it. And I would highly recommend it. And then I wanted to show y'all one last, or really two last pieces. So, I've represented some Chinese cinema, and I've represented some American cinema, but I wanted to go a little bit further and go into one of my favorites. And I want to thank a personal friend of mine, my friend Ian, for showing me this. This is called Mishima, A Life in 4 Chapters, by a director named Paul Schrader. This is the 4K version of Mishima. This came out in 1985, and this is a Japanese film about this fella named Mishima, and it's told in 4 different sections. This has got to be one of the most cinematically beautiful movies I've ever seen. I'm so glad that I got this in 4K, seeing as 4K is the highest resolution in which you can get this movie. This was on DVD for a while, I believe, and then it got reissued in 4K and Blu-ray. And I just so happened to opt for the 4K version. The difference in cost at a Criterion sale, a standard Blu-ray is usually $20 at the 50 off sale, where the 4K variant, if it has one, is $25. So the retail street is $50. But for the Criterion sale, which is where I try to pick up all of my stuff because it's just prohibitively expensive otherwise, would be $25 for a 4K. That's not bad nowadays. And sometimes you can even catch it cheaper than that on Amazon or whatever. But I want y'all to pay attention to the gilded background. Look at that. And this is the kind of thought and imagery that they put. They put this thought and time into creating probably one of the most beautiful pieces of artwork. I mean, look at that, fellas and ladies. And this one is spine number 482, I believe. It's hard for me to see. It's a little early in the morning here. But, again, these are spine numbered. So, and like I said, they're rolling over to spine 1300. So, how I tell people to start collecting for Criterion, if you choose to do so, is go and look for your favorite movie, or go and look for your favorite director. Actually, when I started, my first exposure into the Criterion collection was actually through another piece of my background that I like the Titanic. And I was in, I think, a Barnes and Noble 25 years ago, and they had this movie called A Night to Remember by Roy Ward Baker. And I have it upstairs, so excuse me for not going to get it, but it is from, I believe, 1958, off the top of my head. It's from 1958, and it's a retelling of the sinking of the Titanic, which is probably one of the most awful things that's ever happened in human history. The loss that was experienced through that, I'm so sorry for any survivorship that's out there, having to still deal with the loss of so many people. But the retelling of that is amazing. And it's since been redone multiple times. It was redone by James Cameron in 1997. It won Oscar after Oscar. Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet made a love story out of it. But this, A Night to Remember, was told from, a victim's perspective. You could really see like the fear. You could just feel it. And it really is a moving film, really. And I would urge you to go to your library and check it out. And while I'm thinking about that, the library is a good place. If you still have like DVD player and Blu-ray player or whatever, you can actually rent Criterion movies from the library as well. And they have a pretty good selection, at least at our local library. So in an effort to not make this run too long, I've got one more piece I want to show you. And so Criterion does some really big box sets too. And one of my favorite directors has become this Italian director. His name is Federico Fellini. And I got lucky to get the Essential Fellini box set. So this holds 14 of Fellini's movies, and it'll range from some things I've never heard of before. Admittedly, I have not watched everything in the Criterion collection yet, but this has probably one of his most famous movies called 8½, and it's about being a filmmaker. So like if you wanted to kind of really dip your toe into Italian cinema, this is a good place to start. You don't necessarily have to go get the Fellini box. You can actually buy 8½by itself, and it's available for $20 at Barnes & Noble right now. It also has another movie called La Strada in it. I found out about La Strada through the Criterion Closet videos that are on Criterion, on Criterion's YouTube channel. And interestingly enough, the person that recommended it was Pamela Anderson. And I was just shocked because everyone knew Pamela Anderson as a sex symbol, but she is really a smart woman. She is really big into French cinema. And like I said, one of the ones that she recommended was La Strada, which is in this box. And then he also has Roma, which I have yet to see, but if y'all bear with me, I'm going to literally watch every Criterion movie that I have in my collection. And right now, I have watched the first 34 in spine number. So y'all stay tuned, and I really hope y'all have this. I'm going to end this video now, but I just wanted to say, from my heart to y'all's, I hope y'all have a wonderful Thanksgiving and enjoy your time with family today. Thank you for tuning in to this video, and thank you for taking some time to let's do a fireside chat, sit down and talk about something that I love. And my hope out of this channel would be to instill something in you that would make you want to go out and look for not only this physical media, but anything that allows you to spend time, with your family and and just relax in this world that we live in where everything's so fast paced. So again, I want to say a heartfelt thank you to everyone who's watching. I know my channel just started. I don't have that many people, but for those of you that do see it, if you like what you see, please comment and subscribe and share with your friends, because I would love to be able to talk to more people about this. And I love all of y'all that have started to watch me, and without y'all, I couldn't do it. So I really appreciate y'all, and I just wanted to say thank you yet again. Until next time, I hope y'all have a great day. See you soon.